Okay. Now I'm in the rose garden right now. We're dealing with a hybrid tea rose that we're fixing to trim, and I'm one. I've been in the American Rose Society, and so I'm one of these. Different people like to trim different ways, but for Lee County, I like to trim a rose down to 18 inches, maybe 12 inches, and that's a grief for a lot of gardeners because they think we're just destroying a rose bush. But what you need to understand, you want to severely prune to produce cane growth. And you want to keep a rose in active growing. You don't want a hybrid tea growing up to the edge of your roof line of your house. And that's the way a lot of roses are in Lee County when you drive around and look in the residential areas. They've got branches as big as your arm, and they've become a shrub tree basically, and that's what they'll evolve in. Like I said earlier in the training here, that a grandiflora grows up to 7 foot tall. Well, 7 feet, it's going to have trunks, and we don't want trunks on rose bushes. We want a shrubby growth habit. So in the process here, now I'm going to go through and I'm going to do selective cutting. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm trying to get rid of the weedy growth, and then I'll get down to a height that I'll start doing the actual pruning that I'm going to teach on. But this is getting rid of all the trashy stuff and get rid of excess growth from last year. And so watch my trimming here, ladies. So you're like, wow, he's taking a lot of this off. Yes, I am. I'm getting rid of all last year's growth and getting down to where I can really trim it. And I'm trimming it out so I can have a working area. And of course, I've done this for 50 years, so I know what I'm doing by just eyesight looking. I'm already taking some stuff down to the open canes I was talking about before, and getting rid of some things here.
So you don't have to be really particular. Just
I'm not particular at this level of the cutting.
Yeah.
And I said I want to go down to 18 inches. And let me see what I've got here. Just for you purists out there that might be like, wow, he said 18 inches. Okay, I got a tape measure. A yardstick would just work great out here, folks. But I'm going to go to about 18 inches. Yeah, there I am. And I may go down to 12. Depends on how that bush looks. So now I'm going to squat down here, and I'm going to put my glove back on, and you got to understand that dark reds, darker colored roses are going to be your worst wicked plant. And there's a plug to go to the museum to see the wicked plant exchange, because roses should be over there in the wicked exhibit at the museum. So, because they are wicked, but the darker the red and the reds, they produce more thorns.
I didn't know that.
So, now I'm thinning out here right now. I'm cutting out dead wood. This is dead wood from last year from a bad cut. Now, this dark pattern, if you can zoom in on that, this is the cane disease I'm talking about that gets into the roses. There's nothing you could do. There's no virus medicine you can put on this. It comes up through the graft. It comes up when this thing was grafted. It gets in the plant. It's like a cancer. It's in the plant, and as long as you keep feeding it, you keep watering it, you keep trimming it, it's going to keep growing and producing. But you know, over time, this thing will spread through all these canes, and eventually it'll be knocked out. So you'll have to replace your rose bush. So I'm going to get on down here and do some more trimming. I'm down here at the bottom of where the graft unit is. I'm trimming out some old dead stuff here. You want to have a nice clean cut on these things. Get the leaf matter back. I'm going to take a cut right here. I need that other set of loppers, that small set, please. The surgeon is calling for his instruments. So now I'm getting down to a height to work on it here. It's opened up. Remember, I said a while ago, like the bird nest, opened up where you have the openness of the plant to grow out. Now, when you get to this level, you always want to trim a bud to the outside. And well, what's a bud? Well, let me get down here and see if I can point one out to you. Now, this is a little hard because of the darkness, but in here there's a bud. There's hidden buds that alternate around the cane itself. And if I can find one here for you.
Like little bumps.
Here's right here. There's one right here. That little bump.
Yeah.
Make a little stick here where I'm pointing. That little knob sticking out here above that thorn is a bud. And that's going to break out with new growth and produce that green growth coming out for the rose bush. And so you want to look trimming those to the outside, because when you trim to the outside, then that rose bush grows out and up. If I trimmed all this new growth to the inside eyes, then it would all grow together like this. And that's not being open and letting the air and the sunlight grow down into it like it needs. So this is one aspect. So I'm still trimming out some stuff here, getting the work zone. I'm going to take this one off right here. And you want a flush cut. When you cut above a bud or an eye, you want to cut it about a 1/4 inch up, and you want to cut it at a 45 angle. So the moisture kind of slopes off of the bud. And don't worry about using black tar paint, any pruning paints that are on the market, because what you'll do, you'll seal a bacteria or another virus in here, and you'll get another type of sealed disease compound going, or process. It's anaerobic. You put paint, tar on this, you sealed it, so there's no oxygen, so it's like you got a different type of decomposition going on, kind of like a septic tank that's closed. I'll use that terminology. So now I'm just kind of cutting because I kind of see what I'm doing here. I've got it down. I've got another one here I need to take out, so we need to take out the stub cuts from last year. See, there's another open. See, I'm not going to sacrifice the rose. I could pull it out and say, we'll just plant a new one. So we'll keep on working with this, putting food on it and everything, and we'll just baby it along until it finally craters and it really gets, you'll know it's dying because the whole plant just starts dying back. Now, there's some things on the roses here, and I'll point them out here in just a minute. That is hail damage from last year's hailstorm out here on the campus. So I'm putting it at a 45 at an angle on that one. And I'm looking for a bud here on this one. 45-degree angle. This one I'm taking off. And again, I'm looking for a 45. There's one there on that one. And this is a lopsided cane. Remember when I talked a while ago that you want to buy them kind of uniform looking. This plant over time has lost these two other cane growth patterns over here. And it's probably due to the disease. But we're going to leave that one just like it is right there right now and let it come out. So it's not the best, but it's a rose bush. It's been trimmed. It'll come out with new growth on that part of it. Any questions?
Yeah, when can you expect the new growth to start coming out?
The new growth should start here pretty quick. It's already coming out on some of these roses. Different species are going to break out a little quicker because of just the variety and the gene pool in it. But that's all spring growth right now coming out. And as we warm up into the upper 80s and 70s here for the next few weeks, why, it's really going to shock them. Here's new buds coming out right here on this stem. All those little red shoots are new buds from just the warmth we've had here in the last couple of weeks on that. So they're
what happens if it freezes?
if we have a below zero or down into the teens, these will freeze. And that's one comment. That's a great question for Lee County, because we have the extreme roller coaster temperatures, up 1 to 80 the next day, and 2 days we're back to 60 and down to the teens. And so one proponent about doing this kind of cut is I'm thinking the weather's going to change. Now you could trim up here and do a lot of cutting, and that way if we have some cold weather, then these can be frozen up here, but you still got stuff that's going to break out below. But if we get cold weather here, they're going to freeze, but the rose bush is going to put out more growth. There's more eyes in that wood that we don't see. They'll come out below. They'll come out with new shoots. They may be set back a little bit, but they'll rebound because all that root structure is still in the ground, forcing it to come out.